So, should you buy a new construction home right now or get a contract for a new construction home right now, or should you wait? Listen, the truth is, new construction market continues to dominate the expanding suburbs of Austin. I mean, we're talking master plan communities with amenities, and builders are buying lots throughout the entire community to sell. They have sales and beautiful model homes. They are constantly advertising, allowing the public to walk through to get their home sold. And you're interested. You just want to know, is it a good time right now? I mean, the news says that the rates are really high, but you're seeing the prices come down. You're getting different emails from builders, throwing out different incentives. There's so much information out there. And by the way, you saw another YouTube video that talked about the housing crash and all these things that could possibly happen in the apocalypse. So there's so much information out there, and you just don't know what to do and when to do it. Hey, this is Soomin Kim, your Austin real estate agent, and I speak from a place that there is not an agent in the entire market. In the entire Austin market, there's not an agent in the past 3 years combined that has gotten more new construction contracts, that have gotten more clients into new construction homes than myself. So why do I know you have these questions? Because I get them on a daily basis from many of you. The more of the consistent, similar questions that I get, the more I realize how important it is for me to help you and all of you out there put out the information, put out the data to help you make the very best decision on what is going to be the perfect time for you to get your contract for your new home. So with that said, we're going to dive into all the different details and data and some of the incentives and things that builders are doing. And I'm going to allow you to formulate what is going to be the best pros and cons for you, whether you do it now, whether you do it later, and what that looks like. And make sure you stick around to the end, because I'm going to give you one tip that's going to, if you leverage it properly, it's going to give you the very best chance to get the very best deal on your new construction home. You with me? Let's get it. All right, so let's talk about the new construction home. Now, when I say new construction home, essentially, we all know what we're talking about, right? A brand new home that has been built that is yet to be lived in by anyone. And typically, it's being built by what we call a production builder. Now, there's different levels of production builders. There's going to have builders that are more entry level, and the price will determine that, right? If the cheaper it is, the more entry level it is, the more expensive it is, the more premium of a production builder this can be. Now, regardless of what your budget is, it's going to be in a range of being more entry or being more of a higher end production builder. And anything beyond that is going to be more of a custom builder. But what, for the sake of this video and for the sake of most of you out there, we're going to be talking about production builders and not necessarily custom builders. Now, mind you that there are custom elements to production builders, right? But typically designing and architecting an entire floor plan for yourself as a custom, that's not what we're discussing. Most of these builders have their own catalog, or I like to call them sometimes like a menu of different floor plans, and you're going to be selecting that floor plan that works best for you and your budget and the needs of what you're looking for in a property. Now, there's really two elements of a new construction home, okay? They're both elements are going to be a brand new home that no one has lived in. But when we talk about new construction homes, we can talk about possibly the first kind, which is like to call it an inventory home, also known as market home, also known as on websites very much, you'll often see it labeled as a quick move-in home. Now, what these are homes that are already in production. They may even also be completed and they're brand new and ready to be sold. Or they might be completed usually within about a 4-month time frame from when it's advertised to be sold. And that is going to be able to get a contract before it even completes. So whether the home is completely done and it's move-in ready, whether it's going to be done in 30 days or whether it's going to be done in several months, it's what we call an inventory home. Now, what constitutes the term inventory means that the builder has already pre-selected all the structural and the design options of that particular home. They've already created an invoice for it. And most importantly, they've already started the permitting process on that home. So if you were to find an inventory home and you ask the builder, hey, maybe can you change like the bathroom? The answer is always going to be no, because they've already sent these plans to the city for permitting, which typically takes several weeks to get in return. So when that's already in process, they're not going to make any changes. The next question you might ask is, well, can I change some of the design choices? And more times than not, almost always they will say no, because these have already been ordered, they've already been invoiced, and oftentimes it's like trying to stop a train. If you try to stop a train, it takes 1 mile for the train to completely stop. In the same way, to stop an invoice sheet lined of items just to change maybe the backsplash of a kitchen or maybe the counter of a particular bathroom, that would halt the entire thing. Think of it like a cruise ship. It's very hard for a cruise ship to stop and turn very quickly. So an inventory home, a market home, or a quick move-in home by a builder is one that has already been established to have pre-selected design, pre-selected options. Now, the beautiful thing about these homes is that they are often designed with more of the successful traits that are happening in the market for that certain builder. So if they realize that many people are choosing, maybe wood look cabinets or white countertops with black veining, and that's been very successful, they'll tend to make and select their inventory design elements for these homes with things that are very neutral, that can be all encompassing for many people and not necessarily like an awkward outlying particular taste. So these are inventory homes or quick move-in homes. Now, the cons I mentioned of an inventory home is simple. It's because you can't make any changes. Sometimes when people think of a new construction home, they think of the idea that they're going to design it themselves, make it completely their own. And that's true. That's one of the benefits of having what we call a new construction build home. But with an inventory home, all of these things are pre-selected. And in fact, the builders will be able to show you a panel, show you some PDF files of everything that's been selected in the home so that there's actually no surprises. You will see the hardware being used, the counters being used, the backsplash color, the tile, the bathroom, all that's going to be able to be shown to you. However, there are no changes to that. So that's a con. You might ask yourself, well, what's the pro of buying an inventory home? Well, the truth is, once a home is in motion and once it is going to be built by the builder at this point feels the pressure and the need to sell this home. They don't want to wait on it. They also realize that it's going to be finished at a certain time, and the moment that it's finished, they're going to really feel the pain and the pressure of the carrying cost of that home having it not been sold yet. So the best pro of homes with that are inventory, first of all, you're going to be able to move in much sooner. Maybe you need to move in soon. Maybe you need to move in right now, right? You don't have time to wait for a home to be built. Well, these quick move-ins are going to be great options for you. And in addition, you probably picked it up, but one of the pros is the builders feel pressure with inventory homes. So when they feel the pressure of having to sell these homes because they're going to be finished, or the most pressure when they already are finished, then you're going to have the ability and the leverage to negotiate a better price on that home. For instance, if there's a home that has been sitting for a month that is completely done, and the builder is hoping someone picks it up, and it's priced, let's say, for example, at $699,000, because it is finished, and maybe you make an offer, the builder is much more inclined to accept an offer and to negotiate on that particular inventory home because it's done, it's completed, and every month that it doesn't sell, it is costing them money. So the heaviest and the most pressure and the weight that they feel is a big bonus for you to get an advantage on a price and negotiate more on that particular home. Now, how is this different than a home that is going to be built? Well, nothing's been built yet. There's a longer timeline, anywhere from 8 to 14 months that can be built. So there's a lack of pressure that the builder feels on a home that's going to be built versus a home that is already built. So an inventory home, again, presents many options for people that are looking to get in quickly. Maybe you're someone that says, you know what, I don't believe I'm a great designer. I'd rather have a professional have already designed and selected these items for me, and I would feel more comfortable with that, And also the ability to negotiate on these is perhaps one of the most powerful pros of finding a quick move-in inventory home. In addition, the second kind of new construction home, again, new construction meaning it's a brand new home that has been built that no one has lived in. The second type of new construction home, first we talked about the inventory or the market / quick move-in home. But now let's talk about the general sense of the idea that you are doing what we call a to-be build. Some builders like to call it a build home. Sometimes people like to use the term custom. I would be careful how we throw the term custom around because that can constitute complete something else. But essentially, this is a to-be built home. It's not built yet. It hasn't started yet. There's no permitting for it that's been submitted to the city. It's to be built. And so typically with to be built homes, what you will do is when you visit a builder, they're going to have specific lots that they have that are able to be selected and to be purchased by you, the buyer. Now, once you've selected the lots, keep in mind some lots might carry with it additional costs or what we call lot premiums, and some of them might not have any type of premium. And some of these are just based upon maybe the size of the lot, maybe the uniqueness of the lot, maybe that it's backing to an area that has no other homes, maybe there's views on the back of it, maybe it's oversized, maybe it's in a corner, or maybe it's just a prototypical central lot or interior lot in a community. But you will select the lot, and then you will select a floor plan. And then from that, after you select the lot and a floor plan, in order to achieve a contract for that particular home, you're going to select some of the structural options or some of the variable structural options of that particular floor plan. And then once you do that, it will go into a contract, and you will also be scheduled oftentimes to then select the design elements of your home. Now, I want to be clear on what I just said because there's such a massive form of confusion here. There's so much clickbait out there, especially when you see thumbnails of YouTube videos that give you a price of a home. $799 gets you this, $500 gets you this, $1.2 million gets you this. Well, listen, that they might just be advertising the base price, right? So to get a total purchase price of a build home or to be built, remember there's about 3 to 4 elements. 1, the lot price. 2, the base price of the home. 3, the structural options, and 4, your design upgrades. When you add the lot, the floor plan, or the base price, the structural options, and the design, when you add all 4 of those numbers together, that will constitute what we call a total purchase price. Now let's talk about the pros of buying a to-be-built home. First of all, if you're looking to come into an area and move into an area, and perhaps you're not going to do that for a year, then if you're thinking a year out, a lot of these homes and production builders have a timeline of approximately anywhere from 8 to 14 months to build a to-be-built home. So that might work out perfect for you. For instance, this morning I had a client that came in and they don't plan to move to Austin until next year, the first quarter or second quarter of next year. So it wasn't in their interest to get a home or resale home or a finished inventory home. They thought, hey, we want to build a home. It's going to lay out cells perfectly for 10 months out. And then by the time that home is done, it'll be the exact time when we're going to be transferring our jobs and moving here to Austin. So from a pro standpoint, maybe you're looking farther out, and that presents a great opportunity for you to get a to-be-built home to have it timed really well. The second thing that's generally a wonderful consensus of to-be-built is the fact that you get to pick all the finishes. You get to truly, from a design standpoint, customize a home. Maybe you want beautiful beechwood kind of blonde flooring with the wood. Maybe you want a darker backsplash. Maybe you want the hardware to have gold elements and gold accents to it. Maybe you want your home to have these black accents everywhere. Maybe you like this floor plan, but you want it to look a little bit more modern with, straight line roof lining on the outside instead of the pointy roof. All of those things can be selected when you build your home. Now, the pros in that are it's customizable. There's a timeline that goes farther out. And truly, it's a very customized experience, and one I would say that most people in this life never get to experience, right? And so obviously Texas is a market where there's so many opportunities for that, and that's a pro. Now, the con to having what we call a to-be-built home is that we truly don't know the timing of exactly when it's going to finish, right? The builders can give you an estimate, but based upon sometimes supply chain, sometimes inclement consistency of inclement weather throughout the building process, and so many different variables, we really don't have an exact date. I would say during the 2021 and 2022 seasons of real estate, that was very challenging, and there was so many variables that were completely unpredictable, and most builders failed to really meet their deadlines. I would say in the last 18 to 24 months, that has been really cleared up. In a lot of ways, it's become less ignorant on how long this process is going to take, and we've hit much more of a nominal or normal build cycle and supply chain when it comes to this. So they're actually quite accurate right now on what that range looks like, but truly we don't know the variables. On top of it, if you remember, I talked about market homes having a lot of pressure on the builder because they have it completed, or I should say the home is already done. So they feel like if they're not selling it and it's done, they're losing money. Well, with a to-be-built home, the pressure no longer is on the builder. They realize that this home is not going to be done for 10 months. We already know exactly what the individual is going to choose and how much it's going to cost. So we don't have that much leverage, or the buyer does not have as much leverage to find negotiation options for that, right? We can't ask for a total, percentage off the home because we're going to be adding all the numbers together to build it. We can't be putting too much pressure on them to give us a deal on this and that because the home is not made yet, and ultimately the builder doesn't feel the pressure they would feel from an inventory home. But what they will do is ultimately they still want to incentivize you to get a home that is going to be made for you, but they also want to incentivize you to be able to get into those contracts. And that creates a ton of value for builders as well, to have things in their pipeline, to have contracts that work into the future. And so with that, they're going to offer incentives as well for you to get into those. Some of those incentives can differ from a market perspective, and maybe some of the negotiation of directly trying to get numbers or price off of a certain number, that might not be as strong, but there's going to be other incentives that I will cover next. All right, let's talk about incentives. Now, before I actually get into the nitty-gritty of different types of incentives that builders are offering, let's just talk about how the market works in general. Okay, at the making of this video, we're in a season right now where people feel like the rates have become, and they are, much higher than they were, let's say, a few years ago. Okay, rates have really come up. And so what you've noticed with rates going higher, you've noticed that the prices of homes have come down. Now, when the rates go higher, the buyer, we become to have more leverage because less of us are going to shop when the rates are high. So now the builder is incentivized to throw out more incentives to make it more appealing to get into a contract today. So remember, when rates are high, the prices of homes come down. Now, the inverse effect is also true. When the rates begin to come down and more people begin to want to purchase and decide to take action to purchase, that's when the leverage now shifts back to the seller or the builder. And when the rates come down, the home prices will inversely affect and typically go up, and they could go up very sharply. So right now the rates tend to be higher, so the prices have really come down. Now I want to make it very clear as a real estate agent, and if any real estate agent tells you otherwise, run, okay? I don't know the future, and no one knows the future. Certainly we can look at some of the history and stuff for market cycles and see what can happen. But for any agent to tell you I know exactly what's going to happen in the future, that's a bold-faced lie. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is what has happened. And what has happened in the last 2 to 3 years of this incredible market here in Austin with new construction homes is that the prices have become lower than they have been from that point. Okay, so the prices have been adjusted greatly from what they were just 20 to 24 months ago. Okay, so the rate prices have certainly come down. Now, the number one reason why most people would not get into a contract, even though the prices are down, keep in mind, if this is a stock, you want to buy a stock when the prices are low. Human psychology is unique in the fact that typically when stocks hit an all-time high, everyone buys them. And then when it takes a dip, it's like people get scared or get more cautious or skeptical to buy. You want that to be the opposite. You want to buy when it's low, and you want to maybe be a little more patient and scrutinize a little bit more when prices are high. So now that the prices have come down, what is stopping you and what is stopping people? Well, I'll tell you, the rates are stopping people. So this is how builders react. This is where builders have the advantage. Now, if I'm an individual selling my home, there's only so much money or so much of an offer I'm willing to take because I have to make some money, or I have a goal I got to make, or I want to break even. All that plays a part as an individual. But as a builder, they can take more on. They can make more drastic decisions. They can leverage, or they can neutralize a lot of their profit for the sake of quantity, okay? We don't have that as an individual, but builders can do that. And so what builders have done is they've realized that, you know what, people aren't buying right now because their rates are too high. So here's what they've done. They've started to offer incentives right now, and there's some incredible ones. There are lender incentives. There are percentage and fixed rate percentages that they're offering. So what builders have done right now is they have preferred lenders. A lot of them own part of their lending company. Some of them own their lending company outright. But regardless, every builder has a preferred lender that they work with. And what they've done is they bought blocks of incentives. So in other words, I met with the builder this morning with a client, and they were offering a fixed 4.9% APR for 30-year conventional loan. And the more you discuss with them, as a company, they purchase blocks and blocks. They spend a ton of money and purchase a large quantity of boxes or blocks of fixed rate incentives, right? And so maybe they purchase 60 of these, and they're going to use them as a form of incentives to get their contracts in now and get their sales numbers in today. And so that becomes a massive advantage, because remember what I said, rates come down, prices go up. But because the prices or the rates are high, prices have come down, but no one wants to buy because the rates are too high. So what builders have done is says, look, we're going to provide incentives that are going to lower the rate, and you're able to get a home in this market with a lowered price from what it has been, along with a lower rate. That's a massive advantage. So you might ask yourself, if truly the only reason you are waiting not to purchase right now is just because of a rate, my encouragement to you is look for the builders that have rate incentives, fixed rate incentives, and you will find them. And that's going to be an incredible opportunity for you to get a home at a lower price today with the lower rate. Now, some other incentives that are going to be thrown out there are going to be, perhaps if you're building a home, they're going to have design credit benefits, right? So let's say maybe you get into a contract today, they're going to offer maybe a number if you use their lender, like maybe $20,000 towards your closing costs if you use our lender. But they also might say, we're also going to give you a $30,000 credit or design credit. That means after you get the contract for your home and you go into your design appointment, perhaps you're going to spend $100,000 there, maybe $70,000, maybe $50,000. But whatever you spend, they're going to credit you $30,000 of that for the design element of your home. Now, this is a great incentive because likely, more than not, almost always you will use every bit of that credit. So this isn't like an arbitrary credit that you're not going to use anyways, or a coupon that you would never shop there anyways. This is dollar for dollar, you saving money on your contract. So again, several different incentives being used right now. And then some builders will also offer what we call flex cash. Flex cash just simply means, look, we're going to give you a certain percent of your money back, and that's going to be used in any way you like. You can use it towards closing costs, to your loan, to the cost of the home, to maybe buying down a rate, or maybe paying the lender extra money so that you can get a lower rate. And so those are called flex credits, and those are very opportunistic as well. All right, talking about incentives, and just one more word on incentives, you might ask yourself, why do builders offer so many incentives? Why don't they just reduce the price of the home? So instead of offering me a $30,000 design credit, why don't you just make the home that you're selling for $700 and make it into $670? Well, the reason they don't do that is there's a few reasons why they don't just do that, right? Number one, typically, if you get money as an incentive, let's say you get a $20,000 incentive, you can take $20,000, let's say, off the price of your home, but that might only make a difference of maybe $25 a month on your mortgage. However, if you apply that $20,000 towards making your rate lower through the lender, that might save you $200 a month. And so there's much more advantages of using that money differently than just making it towards a price. Also, the builders also want to protect the individuals that purchased their home before you did. So imagine they sold a bunch of homes for average range of $800 to $850, and all of a sudden they're going to sell it to you for $799 and $750. That's not fair to them. So they sometimes want to protect the insulation of value when it comes to the homes that they pre-sold before and sold to other individuals, so that from a record standpoint, it still says being sold at, let's say, the same price that they bought it for. But what is not being sold or is not being advertised is how much incentives they gave you on the back end or behind the scenes, so that they can help insulate the value and they can still honor the individuals that purchased it prior to your advantageous contract, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why builders have incentives. Next, let's talk about what is the best case scenario for you. All right, so here we have arrived at what is the best decision for you. So if you're someone that is looking to get into a home now. If you're someone that needs to get to a home in the next 3 to 4 months and you want a brand new home, then the inventory home, the market home, or the quick moving home is going to be your best bet. The best pros, as I mentioned for you, is that we can negotiate this right now, right? We can get you a better price than what is being advertised right now. This is also a great time to negotiate more incentives or additional incentives on that particular home. This presents a tremendous opportunity because not only has the market come down and adjusted their price to being much more affordable than it was 2 years ago, but today, because the rates are high, these offers are also going to come with it lender incentives. So you will take the additional incentives that a builder is offering and you will use it to hopefully get yourself a much more favorable rate that exists today. But keep in mind, you might ask yourself, well, I want to wait till rates go down. You can do that. But when the rates go down, prices will go up. When the prices go up, now the leverage is back to the seller. The seller has a leverage. So here's what will happen at that time. They will start to remove their incentives because they don't have to offer those now. They will start to lessen the incentives and they will start to be much more strict on the price because there's now more people flooding the market and there's more opportunities for different buyers that want the same home, right? So if the quick move-in home or the inventory home is the right home for you or the right choice for you based upon the idea of getting in sooner than later, then your best bet is to make sure you get incentives that will help you buy the rate down or make the rate smaller, or get into an opportunity where a builder is offering a fixed rate incentive. This is going to be the best advantage for you, but it's also going to be a massive pro because likely you'll be able to get a better price than what is advertised for that particular property. All right, so all this to say is you have to understand when you look at it from a builder perspective, they have seen all your concerns of what might be holding you on the sidelines, and they've offered opportunities to neutralize those concerns. So the question for you is, what is holding you back? What are your biggest concerns? And can we seek to find that concern neutralized in any way with these builders and their incentives? It's a fact that prices have come down from the height of what they were 2 years ago, and it's a much favorable price today. It's also a fact that rates have gone up to make it a little bit more challenging to afford these homes, and so the builders have been forced to pull their numbers down. However, if rates are holding us back, how can that be neutralized? That's a conversation that I think all of you should have. Now, if you're looking to get into a new construction home, it's so important that you have someone that's going to be able to represent you properly. Let me ask you this: if you own a restaurant, if there was a client or a customer that was constantly coming in every day, bringing their friends and bringing someone new to the restaurant, do you think that the restaurant would value that person a little bit more than, let's say, perhaps someone that has never been there before and is just stopping by? The answer is yes. They would absolutely value that individual because not only are they eating there every day, but they're also bringing new people to eat at this restaurant as well. Now, likewise, I have brought more clients to these builders than any other agent in the entire market. Even some of the top builders, we're talking about Drees, Perry's, Highland, GFO, Coventry, Toll Brothers, all of these. I am one of the top agents for them, and I continually bring them business, and they are aware of it. They're appreciative of it, and I certainly bring them a ton of exposure from this channel with their homes as well. So when that happens, I certainly have a beautiful relationship, beautiful inside contacts with many of these individuals, not just the sales counselors, but the vice presidents, the division sales managers, and the vice presidents of all of these builders. So when I am able to represent a client, they obviously understand that they're being represented by me, and there's particular incentives, there's particular leverage that my relationship allows me to leverage, and I always want to benefit my clients. So this is not just about, oh, let me just stand next to you and walk into a meeting. It is, let me throw my weight into my relationship with these builders and let me see what I can do for you. As I'm filming this right now, as I'm filming this on a Saturday afternoon, I want to let you know I came from a meeting this morning with the builder, and they specifically said, because you're working with Soomin, this is what they're going to do for you, right? And they were able to cut the lot premium in half, essentially take about $60,000 off what would have been the price for most people when you combine the lot, the premium, the structurals, and all that. Simply, I quote unquote, because you're working with Soomin, because you're working with this individual. Well, here's the truth. I'm not here to brag about that. I'm here to impress upon you that I want that to benefit you. Okay, and so hopefully, whether you have an agent, if that's the case, I hope this video helped you with that type of information. If you're looking for a new construction home and you don't have one, or you want me to help you with it, allow me to dig my fingernails, dig my roots, dig all of my experience and my leverage and my relationships to help you find the very best opportunity for you. Before you do anything else, before I let you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. Any questions you have, do not hesitate to reach out to me. As always, I'll put my contact information right up there. And let's see if this is the best time and the opportunity to get your new construction home. Let's see if the concerns that you have, I can help to neutralize those right now. Because make no mistake, once the rates come down, and eventually when they do, when the prices begin to raise, you will see this market flooded once again. And it's going to be more competition. And if there's ever an opportunity to get a home, you want to do it with less competition, because there's more opportunity for you to get what you want and not what you're forced to get. Okay. With that being said, thank you for coming along on this journey. I thank all of my past clients and all of you that I've had an opportunity to help with a new construction home, and I can't help to wait or help one of you into your new home. I'll see you on the next video.